Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Hey guys, original link to the video, top of the description. My name's Connor if you're new, and I like to learn about things. And we're learning about Aldi right now, all right? Preemptive like, well, why Aldi? Aldi is America's fastest growing grocery store. So this is a British grocery store, right? We're going to find out. Let's go.
18 cents. This half gallon of whole milk from Aldi costs $2.18. Eggs, $1.87. Bread, $1.29. Aldi is the fastest growing grocer by store count in the country, and its no-frills approach has also made it one of the cheapest. For the past decade, it's been growing at a rate of about 100 stores per year, and when an economic downturn hits, it thrives.
It's about simplicity, and it's about efficiency, and it's about consistent experience all the time.
This is the economics
It's
of...
sad that there has to be, like, quarters. Like, somebody have to put it... People should just put their carts away, but since they don't, we need something like this.
For the past turn hits, it thrives.
It's about simplicity, and it's about efficiency, and it's about consistent experience all the time.
This is the economics of Aldi. So how does the company keep its prices so low? Take its store setup.
You walk in, and the moment you step foot in our store, you can see all four walls.
Aldi's are typically around 12,000 square feet, about the same as a Trader Joe's, and much smaller than the average supermarket. Operating a smaller space saves money when buying the property, on the lease, and on utilities.
The layout at Aldi is as much designed for our operational efficiency as anything. And so being very specific about the amount of footsteps it takes to service our store, and a very limited store size allows us to operate a very efficient operation, and that creates a lot of value.
To further its efficiency, Aldi doesn't have extra services, like a customer help desk, a fresh bakery, or butcher, and it stocks significantly fewer products. Supermarkets typically carry around 31,000 products. Trader Joe's has about...
Usually when someone has much lower prices than someone else, I think, like, well, what's the catch? Is the food, you know, a little past service date or something like that? Maybe I'm too skeptical. Like, when I see something is on sale, I'm like, why is it on sale, right? Why are you trying to get rid of this product over something else? And so I'm kind of applying that thought to the store as a whole, but they're pointing out some things that actually kind of make sense about that. It would be, the prices could be lower, so it makes sense. Like when you buy something that's cheaper than you'd expect, and you bring it home and you eat it, and it's almost stale. It's like, oh, that's why it's cheaper, you know?
About four markets typically carry around 31,000 products. Trader Joe's has about 4,000, but Aldi stocks about 1,600. Often, there are just 3 to 5 employees on the sales floor, so having fewer items and leaving them in the boxes they were delivered in means employees spend less time stocking shelves. These cost-cutting strategies are critical to Aldi's profit margin, and they're why the company is able to offer items that are cheaper than the national average. But they also serve another purpose. Items that are cheaper than the national
Jesus Christ, almost half for the milk.
average, but they also serve another purpose. They help maintain Aldi's image as a discount store.
So is it, so part of it, is it, because sometimes when I walk in, and this goes not just for grocery stores, maybe especially grocery stores, but clothing stores and whatnot. I'll stick with grocery stores because, you know, food can go bad, where clothes, they can't really. Is whenever I go in, I'm like, all of this selection of things on all of the shelves in this entire store is going to get taken up. Like, it seems like, what, maybe 10% of the stuff that you see is actually going to be taken up. And so is a lot of the business plan, a business model of some of these places that, well, if you buy everything in bulk, then whatever food is wasted, you just, you know, the profits from the food you do sell will make up for that. And so Aldi tries to not do that. I could be very lost here. Maybe that's not how.
Customers may
But does anyone else look in grocery stores and just be like, how much of this is actually going to be taken off the shelf before it gets too old? Depend on. Obviously, some things are going to go bad before others.
make compensatory inferences. Basically, marketing experts say when people see an item's price, they quickly make assumptions about the product.
Yep.
If it's cheap, they may assume it's lower quality, which is why Aldi's no-frills strategy is so effective. From the moment customers put quarters in their carts and walk into the store, they can see all the ways Aldi reduces costs. Marketing experts say these tactics all signal to the customer that milk, eggs, and bread are cheaper at Aldi because of its efficiency rather than its quality. Though the results of its cost-cutting strategies aren't always popular with customers. In a survey of roughly 6,500 people, Aldi scored on par with or slightly lower than many of its peers in categories like store cleanliness and item availability.
What is Dylan's?
But there's another key tactic grocers use to
Sorry.
scored on par with or slightly lower than many of its peers in categories like store cleanliness and item availability. But there's another key tactic grocers use to aid their low-cost images: known value items. These are staple household products whose prices people often remember. As Aldi has expanded across the country, other grocers have reduced their prices in response, particularly on these types of items.
When Aldi comes in, it prompts other retailers to look at their prices again and kind of, surgically
That
examine.
must be so aggravating as a competitor being like, and that's why you have to protect against, a lot of companies kind of banding together to set prices, because then the consumer doesn't benefit as much from the competition and lowering prices. But if you're a competitor, like, oh, I can afford to do this, but I wouldn't have had to if you weren't a competitor with such low prices.
And how to adjust what they sell and for how much.
That's because when people see lower prices for staple goods, they infer that the business offers low prices all around. And when it comes to value for dollar, Aldi ranked highest in the customer survey at 96%. But stores can only compete on price so much without hurting their profit margins. So what does Aldi use other than price point to draw in customers?
Memberships or
It's
something?
private label items. 90% of Aldi's stock is private label. Like its other strategies, this reduces costs for the company.
We take all of our buying power and we put it into the 7 most popular or common salad dressings that a customer might buy. That allows us to deal directly with manufacturers and make sure that we get the best cost price.
Analysts say that trade
I think that, there's going to be a market for, like, when it comes to the lower prices and people assuming stuff. Well, there are some people who just like a bargain and don't mind. And so I think there's a market for certain, goods that not every customer thinks the same, and so it doesn't matter if who gives you the money, as long as you're getting the money. And it seems like just focusing on the bare minimum and focusing on the most popular items, because I think the more popular items are going to be easier to predict how they're going to sell, and so that'll make it less risky to stock those items, and then you will have less waste and therefore can lower the prices a bit. So
Trader
makes
Joe's
sense.
uses
I
private
forget what the point I was trying to make when starting that
label
sentence.
items to differ from competitors by creating items that customers can only find there. Like its ube mochi pancake mix and butternut squash mac and cheese. But at Aldi, you'll find private label items that look quite similar to the most well-known national brands. Instead of wheat thins, Aldi has thin wheat. According to analysts, this is because Aldi wants customers to think they're essentially getting the same product, but at a significant discount.
There was a
It's
time
never
when
the same, okay? I don't care. I don't know if I'm just conditioned to like, Honey Nut Cheerios, and then there's a box next to it that's half the price, and it's called Nut Honey Cheerio. I don't know, or Beerios. I don't know. As close as you can get. It's like you're playing a game to try and get as close as you can get to the look of this other well-known product so that you can get the kind of half brand recognition without getting the lawsuit. But when you buy those things, it's not the same. It's not the same. All right. I want Fruit Loops, not Loop Fruits or whatever.
Was, they're the generic brand, and, they're just cheaper, but not as good as the national brands. And those days are over.
As consumers felt the lasting impacts of inflation, sales of store brand products increased from 2018 to 2022.
And those days are over.
As consumers felt the lasting impacts of inflation, sales of store brand products increased. From 2018 to 2022, there was a 34% increase in industry-wide private label sales, totaling more than $57 billion.
While some other grocers might have private label offerings, this is the existence of what we do.
Aldi has thrived during recessions. The 2008 financial crisis sparked its growth and decision to add around 100 new stores per year.
What was really interesting is we never lost any of those customers. And as the economy improved and we had a really long run of economic improvement, Aldi grew.
And then you'll keep that. Oh my God, that's so good. You almost like would want to root on economic downturns sometimes, especially if you're new. But the great thing about that is that you're a very cheap option when people's standards kind of lower and their pockets get a bit more empty, right? Then, they're going to care less about having that brand name or whatever. And then as soon as you get out of the recession and now people are kind of used to you, and you might just keep those, like if they like what they've been buying, you might just keep the customers. So
throughout that entire period of time.
And now, as inflation drains Americans' wallets, Aldi continues to grow.
In the beginning, that was sort of their target audience, people who, wanted bargains and wanted to buy food for low prices. But in recent years, I think they've really expanded that audience to also go after people who want convenient shopping, who want the necessities and want to be in and out of stores.
that was enjoyable. I enjoyed that video. Interesting. I definitely had no idea what Aldi is going into this, and now I have a pretty good grasp, I think. Appreciate any comments down below, guys. Hope you're all doing well, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Bye.